Hi, my name is Arul Jiva and I work with BMC Cloud Lifecycle Management. In this video, I'm going to cover what is CLM Python SDK and how to get started by installing and configuring it. Let's begin with what is CLM Python SDK and who can benefit with it. What is CLM Python SDK? CLM Python SDK is an easy way to perform task-based API operations in BMC Cloud Lifecycle Management. If you are a CLM administrator or a developer who is familiar with Python-based code, then you would be able to utilize this CLM Python SDK. CLM Python SDK has no direct interaction with the CLM RESTful API, which means one who is not familiar with the REST-based API syntax can take advantage of CLM SDK. CLM Python SDK are binded to the full RESTful API so that one can use Python command line code or scripts to complete BMC Cloud Lifecycle Management operations with a simplified syntax. The target audience are going to be the cloud administrator and developer, so this tool is not for cloud end user. Let's have a quick demo on how to install CLM Python SDK. As a prerequisite, we need to install Python 2.7.x on the computer where SDK will be run. The Python 2.7.x can be downloaded from python.org. Let's run through the installation directly now. I have opened python.org webpage. Let me go through the download section. We have two versions of Python, 3.5.1 and Python 2.7.11. For this demo and for CLM Python SDK, we will be using Python 2.7.11. Let me go ahead and click on it. Now, for Python 2.7.11, we have the version available for all the different operating systems. As I'm going to use this demo for performing in Windows, I'm going to use the Windows 64-bit installer. Let me go ahead and click it. I'm going to hit save on my computer. I've got the Python installer downloaded on my computer, so let me go ahead and run it. I'm going to choose install for all users. I'm going to leave it to the default path. It says that you want to overwrite the existing files. I had Python installed before and I had uninstalled it, so I'm just going to hit yes now. Let me go ahead and hit next. The customized installer option, please make sure that we are choosing the option add Python to the path. This way, once the Python is installed, it by default adds to the path environment variable so that when you want to run the Python commands, it can be run from any part. I have allowed the install to run and complete. Let me go ahead and hit the finish now. The next step would be to create a folder SDK in the computer where the SDK will be installed. So I've already created a folder named SDK in my C drive. Now the next step would be to copy the Python SDK from the CLM Platform Manager host. I've already copied this to my host, but I'm going to show you from where I have copied it. Connect to the file system of the Platform Manager host. So this setup is installed in Windows. So I'm going to C drive, Program Files, BMC Software, BMC Cloud Lifecycle Management, Platform Manager. Under Platform Manager, I would be able to see an SDK directory, and I'm going to copy this file. I have already copied this file to my local computer and I have extracted it. Let's look at the files inside. So I can see the setup.py install file. So I'm going to use the Python command to install it. Let's look at the command now. I'm going to navigate to the directory where I have downloaded the Python SDK. Alright, let me get inside the Python directory. I'm going to run the Python install command. I'm allowing the installer to run and complete. Let's wait for a few minutes and it should be done. Okay, so I've got the CLM Python SDK installed successfully on my computer. Let's go ahead and run a simple command and test how this works. We are going to use the command pip list to see whether the CLM SDK folder is showing up. So I've run the command and I can see the BMC CSM SDK here. That looks good. This is not it. We still need to run one more basic command from CLM SDK so that it creates the csmconfig.ini file in the user home directory. Let's go ahead and run a basic command trying to log into the CLM setup. Let's look at the first basic command in SDK. CLM login. I'm going to give the URL of the platform manager host, which would be http://clm dash pun dash 013717 colon 7070. Please make sure that you use the platform manager host name and the port it is listening on. User password. So that says you are logged in successful. Let's go ahead and check the configuration file now. So I'm going to my C drive, users, my home user page. I can see the folder CSM SDK created. So I've got the CSM config.ini. Let me right click the file and we'll go to open. So as we can see here, it has got the locale settings, it has got the timeout settings. We also can see that we can enable the log level from info, and if you want to increase it to debug, you can change it here. I can see the size file index, and I can also see where the logs related to the CLM SDK commands are stored. Any changes that is required from a CLM SDK point of view will be handled from this configuration file. So I hope you are now familiar with what is CLM Python SDK and how to run a basic simple command and get the configuration file generated. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.